Hello, this is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie. I did watch some anime
Nice.
Yeah,
just before the podcast because I'd forgotten up until then, but I did watch
doing your homework the night before, or the period before, still doing your homework.
20 minutes before class.
Yeah.
I did catch the first episode of Baki Hanma, so I will be describing that in a moment. But first,
Okay.
how are you guys?
I'm Blackle. I'm doing pretty good. This week I finished Isaacin with my girlfriend, and that show is really fucking good. It's probably one of the best shows there is, in my opinion.
I love that.
It's very nice. It's a solve for your brain. It's a nice ointment.
I remember that when we first watched it, I described it as spiritually healing.
It was so good, especially we watched it like during the pandemic, like just when it was starting, and we're just like, this is what we needed to calm down and not freak out anymore.
Anyway, hi. I'm also here.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Louis. I also watched anime, so it sounds like we all watched anime this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. What did I watch? I caught up on Undead Girl Murder Farce, which shit is happening in that show.
Should be happening. I had a strong suspicion that shit might happen in that show.
I mean, we talked about this on the episode, so it's not really a spoiler, but Sherlock Holmes shows up.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
I saw him in the character list.
That's news to me.
But I mean, it's pretty good. I started Bungo Stray Dogs, which you guys watched before I was a part of the crew.
Before your time.
Yeah, before my time. Which, like, I'm gonna have to listen to what you guys thought about it, but like, it's like JoJo, but with authors.
I did coin the phrase "they do be bungoing."
They bungoed my fucking stray dogs.
Whatever that means. Yeah, that seems to be the thing, and wow, it's a weird one.
Like I'm like 8 episodes in on that, and I think I like it, but I'm not totally sure.
It's weird to learn about who fucking Osamu Dazai was from a knockoff JoJo anime.
Yeah. I can see that.
But yeah, my experience with Baki Hanma was about what I expected, in that in the first episode of this new series that they renamed for no reason, Yujiro kills a dinosaur-sized African elephant for fun, and Baki hypnotizes a bunch of children into salivating. So, standard shit for Baki. He shadowboxes Mike Tyson so hard that other people see him.
That's insane.
So yeah, that's about the quality of shit I'm in for the next, I don't know, 24 episodes or something.
Yeah.
You guys want what little news I scraped up?
Yeah, sure. Show us that juicy news.
I've got 2 things, and neither of them are actually anime.
Oh.
I hadn't heard anything about Final Fantasy Ever Crisis for a long time, and that was supposed to be like the kind of homage to the original that was going to come out alongside the remake shit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, some of the scenes do have these pop idol looks to it, which I really appreciate. Although they apparently are adding in a bunch of new content, and the new characters all look like Mii's. They really look like Mii's that are just anime. But
enemies.
But what got this into the news is that it was presented as news on a site that we will get to experience Young Sephiroth again, but he's different now. And I need to stress to you that the way they have made Sephiroth young is that they have made everything about him shorter.
Oh,
they cut his hair. They cut his hair and they cut off like the bottom third of his jacket. and now he's
Yeah.
different. And I don't think they realize this. They already did this. They did this in the Final Fantasy Advent Children movie. He's just Kadaj or whatever the fuck his name was. How many times can they get away with it?
They can't.
Anyway, I'll
shrunk 'em.
banish it. And my other news item is here to crush the shippers. No, just sort of incidentally, because a friend of ours has been shipping every male character with Zoro in the One Piece live action show. We do have a story from that, which is there will apparently be no crew romance in that show because it was laid down by Oda that there would not.
Good.
Specifically, this is crushing the hopes of Zoro x Nami shippers, who apparently saw some chemistry in the pairing. Because from what I can tell, looking at most of the cast, most of them are hot. I don't even like men, and I see what you mean. So, like, I get it, but yeah, Oda's just like, no, absolutely not. That's not what we're doing here.
Thank God.
So that's what news I managed to scrape off the bottom of the tub.
Thank you for that.
Louis, you said you had something for us. What you got?
Yeah. So I got an anime. It's got a name. Do you want to know what the name of it is?
I want to know what the name is.
It's going to become relevant eventually.
Do we decide sub or dub before you know what it is?
We decide sub or dub
before that.
After we stopped recording, like we do every time.
Okay, well, I guess we're cutting this part out then. So I got the name of the show is called Mashle, Magic and Muscles.
I was gonna bring this eventually.
Yeah, I've been
most of the fucking time, I guess.
Yeah, I've been sitting on it for a couple of weeks now. It's I'm curious to see how it is.
All right.
Yes, we'll see.
Do you have magic or do you have muscles?
Do you have magic muscles?
Or neither.
Picture, if you will, a version of Mob Psycho 100 reversed.
Yeah.
Where everyone is psychic, but only he can get swole.
Yeah. God.
I guess I'll read this blurb this time. I've done it, man. In this magical world, one is easily identified as having magical abilities by a distinctive mark on their face. Those unable to practice magic are swiftly exterminated to maintain the magical integrity of society. However, deep within a forest lies an anomaly in Mash Burndead, who can be found pumping iron with one arm and lifting a cream puff with the other. The aloof boy with superhuman strength but no magical abilities leads a quiet life with his father, far removed from society. Mash's peace is soon disturbed when the authorities discover his lack of magical powers. They issue him an ultimatum: compete to become a divine visionary, which would force everyone to accept him, or be persecuted forever. To protect his family, he enrolls in a prestigious Eastern Magic Academy, which only the most elite and gifted students are allowed to attend. Now Mash must overcome his shortcomings as a magicless being and surpass the other students, relying solely on his muscles.
The way you said that, the way you did that read, sounded like you were like Rod Serling, and you were doing like a fucking intro to a Twilight Zone episode.
I was just continuing the Rod Sterling bit that I opened.
Yeah. Consider if you will.
Consider.
I mean, that was the first episode. You just said the first episode.
I did. That is the synopsis of this first
This happens
episode.
a lot.
This does tend to happen when the synopsis isn't complete shit. Mm-hmm. Because it's usually either a description of the first episode or just nonsense.
Right.
So yeah, it's rare that it really is rare that we hit a show that I just instantly kind of like.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick rundown, which is yeah, they introduce us to this world, which is the visuals are like kind of generic fantasy, but they're well done, which is a kind of a relief to see.
Yeah.
Because even if you're just doing bog standard generic fantasy, if you do stuff with the lighting and architecture and like scene framing that makes it look good, surprise, surprise, it'll still look good. If you bother to put some artistry into it. But yeah, we were introduced to this society where everybody uses magic for everything, and your facility with it determines your social stratum. We see dudes like using like magic megaphones and people shining people's shoes telekinetically. A lot of low level telekinesis being squandered is what we see in Magic Society.
Yeah, for sure. Just like, I'm gonna like carry a book with telekinesis.
I'm gonna levitate a cube.
Yeah. And it's like, my other hands are free. I don't need to do this. I just want to do this.
This is unnecessary, but
exactly.
I think the only person I saw using it well was the guy who was shining like 4 people's shoes at the same time, because that is something he couldn't actually conceivably do and retain his dignity.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we wander away from this city into the nearby woods to encounter startled animals, and these are I think the animals are some of the best jokes in this first episode, because we drop in on a pair of fucking deer that are clearly scared shitless of what is going on in front of them, because what is going on in front of them is in the middle of a forest clearing. A man is doing 75 bench presses a second.
It's like it looks like he's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like
the comedic timing. Yeah, the comedic timing on it is great. I feel like there's only like 2 frames.
Yeah.
They just repeat over and over again, and there's like a low hum in the background.
Like
and then he stops. Then he just stops. And says, nothing like a cream puff after pumping iron. Which, as a person who moderately pumps iron every now and then, I cannot imagine anything more vomitous.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I can barely eat anything, much less anything sweet. But
he's a little freak.
He's a freak. He's the best kind of freak.
Certified freak.
And my no, he's not a certified freak. He's not that kind of freak. But my analogy for like Mob is what really strikes me, because he reminds me a lot of Mob.
This like this whole thing, like it's like Black Clover's setting with My Hero Academia's like shtick with like Mob Psycho 100's design.
Except he does carry himself with like the quiet confidence of somebody who doesn't know they should be afraid. That does set him apart from Mob. But
like I'm not saying that as a detractment. I'm just like, it's interesting, like the parallels that you can already draw.
But we cut away from him and to a small hut in the forest where geriatric mage lives. So Mash's papa, Mr. Burndead, appears to be what happens whenever a wizard doesn't do any of the things that make wizards impressive. He's just kind of an old fuck up. But he's sitting there. He's just sort of like ruminating on things, and he's just like, I wonder if Mash is done with his training that'll help him survive in this world. Wait, what does that sound? Because Mash can't figure out which way the door goes, whether it's push or pull, and eventually he just pulls it off its hinges. And they do this whole slapstick bit where he's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll fix it, and he tries to shove it back in the hole sideways. And he's just like, not like that. Then he just breaks the ends off of it.
Like it goes on for about like 10 seconds of the scene of him just smashing it against the door frame.
Yeah.
At the same speed that he was doing.
There's a lot of physical comedy.
Yeah.
And every time he says he's sorry, it's just like, I can tell that he actually regrets his actions.
Yeah,
he's so amenable. I can't stay mad at it.
Yeah.
Because he's completely like cool at all times. He's just like, go men aside.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dad.
His father is eventually just like, okay, I have to go into town. Remember, you can't go into town by yourself. And as soon as he leaves, he just super speeds a note out of his pocket that we can't read, but turns out to be an advertisement for cream puffs. And he's just like, I'm sorry, Papa.
I have to do it.
I have to do it. There's no arguing with a rumbling stomach.
Exactly.
So yeah, Mash goes into town, wearing a hood and cloak, and he's passing by people on the street, observing their magic, and he's just like, they're still only doing things they could just do with their hands.
Right.
I'm just like, yes, you understand. And he goes to buy some cream puffs. And he's just like, that'll be 5 silvers or whatever it is. And he pulls them out, and they're all bent up to shit. And he's just like, oh,
because he got too excited and he made a fist around his...
Yeah, I clenched them and I must have bent them. Here, let me fix them. And he just takes them between his thumb and forefinger and straightens them out. And the guy just screams. He just screams in terror.
Fear.
But then he goes and gets him his cream puffs. He's just like, you know what? This guy's a freak, but his money's good. But when he does, a sudden draft blows Mash's hood back, and everybody sees that his face is unmarked, and they're just like, "Oh shit, really? What the hell?" And he takes his cream puffs and leaves, but everybody's just staring at him. And then we cut away to a bad man.
Yeah.
This bad man is sitting at his desk, and is this on TV or a radio or something, or some sort of
it's his
magic
newspaper.
equivalent?
His newspaper is a TV.
It's a magic newspaper.
Oh yeah, it's a magic newspaper. It's some fucking
Up on the magic newspaper.
Yeah, the picture is talking, and they're talking about what the divine visionary is or whatever, because a student has just been chosen for it, and it's the student who's the most promising for the year. And it comes with a lot of like riders and perks, right? Like like this kid gets elevated into the nobility, you know. there's like prize money.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, well, must be nice to have all that fucking talent. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in this dull job, in this dull life. And
now I have to torture a guy.
To torture a guy, because there's a guy in a cell right off of his office who's strung up by a rope to the ceiling. He's like, please, I just stole some stuff, and he's like, you made my job harder, so now, and he pulls out a wand. Wands in this are before they're diffused later on, are treated almost like guns.
Yeah.
The same gravity. But then his phone rings. He just has a phone.
Yeah.
And he is like, oh, there's some unmarked brat in town. I see. Well, I'll go find them. And we come back to Mash, because Mash is going home eating his cream puffs. And everyone is still staring at him. He's just like, oh, that's strange. I want to get out of here. When he runs into a huge man and smears one of the cream puffs across his chest, this is a enormous drunk police officer, and he's like day drinking like heavily.
Yeah,
They point out that it's like 90% alcohol by volume.
I think one of the scariest things to me is a day drinking police officer. Barry DeBall would make me shit my pants immediately.
just out there in the streets stumbling.
Yeah.
And it's time for another like Abbott and Costello bit between them because the guy clearly can't tell that he's unmarked anyway because he can't fucking see. But he's super pissed off about his lot in life. And it's just like, what are you going to do about this? You ruined my uniform. And Mash just rips his shirt off. He just grabs him by the collar and pulls a strip of his uniform off. And he's just like, I'm sorry, I will wash these and return to you. And he's just like, these what? They're nothing now.
it's clot. It's rags now. You've derobed this man.
And you hear a voice from him that's like, Brad, let me handle this. And it cuts back, and it's the bad man from before because he's the police captain. He's I forget what he even says because Mash is not paying attention to it. He's just eating cream puffs, and he's just like, "What would?"
Too busy thinking about and eating cream puffs.
It's just like who would be eating cream puffs in this situation? What kind of little brat is it? And right then, Papa Burndead just zoops out of the frame with Mash over his shoulder. He says, "Please forgive my son." And he takes a moment to laugh because he's just like, "That's." Even he thinks that's funny. He's just like, you know what? This is a big hassle, but maybe it's a chance for a promotion. So he summons up a little like ether bird to follow them. And then we cut to their home in the woods again, and he's just like, "I told you can't go to town like that." And he's just like, "I'm sorry, Pop." It's like, "Oh, I can't stay mad at my son." All right. And he gives him the rest of the cream puffs too, because he's a good boy. He's just like, all right, well, your punishment is to go do your set again. He's just like, all right.
Just I like, just want to say, real quick,
what?
Like this entire bit, or this entire time, I thought like it was going to be a bit, and he was going to open up the cream puff bag, and they're all going to be like smushed together or something. Like
no,
that me too. I thought that was going to happen.
See.
Cool. No, the callback joke is the better one because as he's leaving, he goes to Mash goes to open the door, and the old man has like a second of premonition, and he's just suddenly there at the door. He's just like, "Let me, son."
Yeah,
please.
I'll open the door for you because you're
a freak.
Your brain is not functioning.
Because your brain is not wired to anything. And while Match is out, we're gonna have a little flashback to when he was young because this guy has been a fuck up since he was a child.
Yeah,
his magic is weak. He can't do fuck all with it. He's got it, like he's got some. You saw him pouring tea with it earlier, but it's never been enough for anybody in his life. And he was shunned by his parents and by his his employer as a teenager, and finally as like a 40, 50-year-old man, he was ready to end his life.
Yeah.
And so this society won't do anything for me, and nobody cares, and maybe I should just stop existing. And he takes a step up on the retaining wall of a bridge. But right when he does, he hears an infant crying, and he goes to find the source of it, and it's Baby Mash, and he's just like, this kid is unmarked, but he likes me. It's like the first time anybody's ever needed me for anything. This is my son forever.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to take care of this tiny baby for the rest of my life.
I just like between his character design in the flashback, like when he finds Baby Mash, and his character design now with like presumably like 14, 15-year-old Mash, like that man's been through a lot.
He had to have been an old man when he found Mash. Like he had to have been like 50. But
yeah.
But or maybe that's just what happens whenever you have to raise Mash. But
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks out the window and he sees, oh shit, it's that cosmic bird, and then the cops break down the door because the magical Gestapo has to do a job. Because they're here to kill him.
They're like, you're fostering the unmarked. That's not allowed. Blah blah blah. And I was just like, holy shit, Nazi Germany.
It's just like no. It's just like no. He can't do magic. He's gonna die.
Yeah, but it's scary.
And I assume the whole idea is just to prevent like the non-magical human gene from spreading in the population.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go to kick the old man's ass because he won't tell them where Mash is. And Mash has actually come back relatively early because turns out if you put your mind to it, you can do that whole set in 5 minutes. Even the fucking Russian dance kick dance with the 500 pounds of weights.
Was it squirrels that were freaked out this time?
Yeah, it was squirrels doing that. You know, a lot of squirrels witnessing horrifying things lately between this and the Baldur's Gate Asterion fucks up air thing. But
I'm not even gonna touch that one.
But yeah, he's just he comes back early, so he's just on the other side while he listens to them beat the shit out of his old man, and they finally get fed up with it. We're trying to beat it out of him, and they're just like, all right, well, we'll just kill you. And he starts charging up I guess Kamehameha or whatever the fuck spell. This is the only thing that bothers me about this show is the magic seems relatively like uninspired. They're just blasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that gets addressed. That like they commented on that magic's only used for like mundane things, but like I hope they do more with it.
Well, I suppose if it's just like telekinesis and blasting, then Mash might be able to imitate it, just with physicality.
Right,
But if it was like shit from like Witch Hat Atelier or whatever or whatever the fuck it is, it's just like, oh no, they're gonna find out immediately. He won't be able to do anything. But I need to like read that shit. I hear it's good.
Witch Hat Atelier, it's good. I've read the first book, I think.
But yeah, and there's I forget what they're saying, but Mash just interrupts it by just walking through the door, like he just explodes it off his hinges while he's in mid punch, and he just knocks the first guy out the other side of the house. He's just gone.
Yeah.
And then the big guy is the same drunk cop from earlier, but who's sobered up a little bit. And he's just like, hey, now, what do you think? And he just rips his shirt off again.
Yeah, that's my second shirt of the day.
It's just like, no. Nobody clothes anymore. And then he does a fucking Curly Joe slap to him. He slaps him like 7 times on either cheek.
Yeah.
So funny.
And the whole rest of the scene, just keep this in your mind as I describe it. The whole rest of the scene, that fat guy is slumped against the wall watching it, and his cheeks are like fucking huge.
They're just big and red, and they look like a cut of beef.
He looks like he has the mumps. But yeah, it's just him and a Herr Commandant at this point. And he's just like, magic or no, it's time for me to send all of you to hell. Just like, oh, well, fuck, all right, Kenshiro. And the guy doesn't take him seriously because he's like, you can't do magic. I'm just like, motherfucker, you just saw him throw your partner completely out of the...
I don't even know where that guy is anymore.
He hasn't said anything. He's either dead or too far away.
Yeah. He's gone.
Just like, you should maybe take him a little more seriously, but no. And the captain is apparently like a talented mage. They remark upon this, that he could blow any of the local mages out of the water. And he goes to use his signature spell, which apparently is enough to drive off a dragon. And he charges it up, and he's just like, I've got you now. And Mash just stands there, And he just fires it off, and there's a big explosion, and the room is full of smoke, and he's just like, I guess that's done. And whenever it's gone, but whenever the smoke clears, he's just standing in the same position, and the guy is just like, did he just bat my spell away? Can my magic be paffed like that?
What the hell? I've never seen that before in my life.
And we follow this up with a scene where he casts many dangerous spells at him, and he's just parrying them with his bare hand, which is truly baller Street Fighter shit.
Yeah.
At one point, he juggles some of them. And then he's just like, all right, it's my turn. Papa, let me borrow your wand for a moment. And he picks it up, and you're just like, oh shit, he'll had magic the whole time. And then he just fucking baseball throws it.
It's so funny.
Because the guy set up a shield.
Throws it. It's like a dart.
Well, yeah, he does a baseball pose. He lifts his left leg and throws it. But the other guy put up a shield. It's just like, no normal spell could reach me, even if he could cast. And he just fucking throws it past his head, and it embeds itself in this stone fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, and the guy just slumps to the ground. He's just like, I've never seen anyone use a wand.
Like grazed his cheek, and he's bleeding a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's like a bullet.
Yeah.
And he's just like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, if I found you, like, you're never gonna know peace from this point on. It's just like, wait, how about I make a deal with you, kid? It's just like, if you can enroll in a magic academy and get selected to become the divine visionary, I'll leave you alone. I just want the fame and fortune that comes with that. And his pa is just like, this guy was trying to kill you just a minute ago. Don't listen to anything he has to say. And Mash is just like, you know what? You've got a deal.
Yeah.
It's just like, you can't possibly do that. And it's just like, well, I want to live normally. I don't want to live on the run for the rest of my life. Like, I don't want to put this old man through that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, our last scene is him approaching a darkened magic school with his new fake facial marking and a robe, and he drops the best hook I've seen for a series in a long time, in which he's just like, if this is truly a world that will not allow us to something as simple as living in peace, he just looks up at the castle and he says, then I must crush it with my fist.
Yeah.
So good.
And then we cut to a very funny outro where they're singing about cream puff ingredients.
Yep.
It's so funny.
So yeah, what do we think of Mashle?
I thought, I went in and I saw like this like generic like fantasy setting, and I was my expectations were pretty low. And then it basically became One Punch Man, but everyone else is wizards, and I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm. He does like give off a lot of Saitama energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that he's like clueless.
He's the kind of guy that would just get struck by a chain lightning bolt, and then the smoke would clear, and he was like, Soka.
Yeah. You're like, that tingled.
Okay. Go on, Louis.
I was just gonna say, like, if you had told me that this was written by the guy who had written One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100, I would have believed you. That's all.
It does feel like a one product, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It does.
But this was apparently made as like a fully formed manga. I don't know if
this is a Shonen Jump title.
Yeah, I don't know if the guy who wrote it is the guy who draws it, but that's what it sounded like. Yeah, I like this show. I think it's quite funny.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And I'm excited to see him like bullshit things.
Once I realized it was a parody, I was into it a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Like I want to see him follow the letter of the test rather than the spirit of the test.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels like it'll be a good time. So yeah, I will watch another episode of this.
I was planning on watching more of this, so
I'm like well, you know me. I'll only watch it if it's like extremely good. I just thought it was okay.
Yeah, you're pretty choosy.
Yeah, I'm very choosy.
I had a feeling when I brought this that it wouldn't be your thing, but
I thought it was good. I just don't. Yeah, I don't think
your reaction was better than I thought it was going to be. I thought you were going to be very mad about it, so I'm glad to hear that.
No, it was good.
Yeah. So yeah. If you'd like to tell us about your training routine, you can do that at oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
That's one the word.
That's one the word, not the number.
I said it first.
Jinx.
I care more.
When will JoJo come back from the war?
Guys, help! We need them back.
Mm-hmm.
We're also on Twitter and Blue Sky under similar names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is just reminding me that I need to start working out again.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, between this and Baki, yeah.
Yeah, I would prefer. Honestly, I would prefer this. I don't want to look like anybody in Baki. But yeah, I think Baki will have to be the motivation for the workout, because that's how I did it last time. So yeah, it's going to be me doing sets of squats and then watching him fight a giant praying mantis or some shit. Anyway, I think it's time to go.
Yep.
Get on the magic school bus. Muscle school bus?
Get on the muscle school bus.